So, today's episode is going to be a little different than most. Rather than traveling around, getting into adventures, it's just me chilling. I'm hanging out here in Bobby Davis Park, which is one of my favorite places in Hazard because it's just so beautiful. I mean, look at this. This is the sort of aesthetic you can't buy with money. And that's why I love it so much. The thing that I want to talk about in this episode is writing and reading Appalachia. And the reason I want to do this is because just this week I submitted some of my original poetry to a local literary magazine, and I'm really excited about it. About a year ago, I submitted my first writing, and I'm unpublished, and I sent it to like a really big journal, and I'm not at all surprised I didn't hear back, even though I sent them a lot of emails. But this year, I feel really good about it, and I've just had writing on the brain. There's a ton of writing by Appalachians, there's a ton of writing about Appalachia, and it's an incredibly rich literature. The last time I submitted writing, I didn't live here, and I really feel like living here and writing here, it's kind of just a matter of time until I get published. There's so many opportunities to do it. There's so much to write about. It's just a creative paradise, really. So, when I think about Appalachian literature, I think of a lot of names and a lot of journals. The first name that comes to my mind, maybe less Appalachian than just Kentuckian in general, is, of course, Bell Hooks. Can't have a list without her at the top. She may not be into that with her opposition to hierarchies and stuff, but I am a huge fan of hers, and if you watched my last episode, you got to see me hanging out at her institute a little bit in Berea, which was an incredible experience. And if you're ever in the area, you should definitely check it out. So, I have to say that reading Bell's stuff was what started to get me into Kentucky and Appalachian literature. And it wasn't much later that I read work by Silas House. And another huge favorite of mine is Crystal Wilkinson. I was able to take a workshop with her at the Appalachian Symposium that happened at the end of 2015, which was amazing. And recently I read Robert Geip's new book, Trampoline, which was a lot of fun. And of course, I have to give a shout out to my local author friend, Emily Hudson, who has published 2 books right here in Hazard. So those are just a couple of names to get you started, and if you crack open Google and type in Appalachian literature, you'll find a billion other names to look into. And there's all sorts of different voices, all sorts of different stories. There are also all sorts of different literary magazines, from Pine Mountain Sand and Gravel to Kudzu, Appalachian Heritage, Still, Pluck. I feel like I've never lived in a place with so many literary magazines, so many options or opportunities to read, to write, and to be engaged in the writing community. Writing is another thing that I do in addition to vlogging to keep myself creatively fulfilled. I've been writing for my whole life and kind of just recently got into poetry, and I'm no good at it, but one of my favorite things about poetry is that you don't really have to be good at it. I feel like I've never thought this before, but it's actually one of the most punk literary forms I can think of. You know, essays so often have expectations and requirements with them, and that's certainly true of poetry as well, but there's, I feel, a lot more room for experimentation in poetry than in some essays. So that's what I submitted, and I'm really excited about it, and I have no idea when I'll hear back, but I feel like my work was a really good fit for the theme, and I think my writing and my focus and the way that I talk about my writing has gotten a lot better since the last time I submitted, so y'all better believe if I hear anything back that y'all will be the first to know about it. So, what are some of your favorite Appalachian or Kentuckian authors? Or what sorts of stories do you want to hear from Appalachia or about Appalachia? Let me know in the comments or post a video response, and I'd love to start a conversation.
Howdy!